As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This episode is sponsored by State Farm. Choices are great. Like with your podcasts, you get to choose what you want to listen to. And State Farm believes insurance should work the same way. That's why the State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you get the coverage you want at an affordable price and a policy that helps cover what you value most. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com today to create your State Farm Personal Price Plan. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
The Purple Mafia with your host, Paladino Joey.
Well, we'll see. The doctors would disagree, but what do they know?
So let's just say that you'll pay me because it's in your interest to pay me.
Is it worth it? I mean, you've won. Do you want to wipe everybody out?
I don't feel I have to wipe everybody out, Tom. Just my enemy. That's all. My father taught me many things. He taught me, keep your friends close, put your enemies closer.
These are wonderful things that we've achieved, and there's no limit to where we can go from here.
Welcome to the family here on Purple Mafia. It is Tuesday, February the 5th, 2013. This is episode number 136 of Purple Mafia. This show is available on thesportstuff.com and on iTunes. I thank each and every one of you always for downloading and listening to this show. Dylan Richardson, the executive producer of thesportstuff.com, was the voice you heard at the beginning of the introduction. He was kind enough to introduce me as Paladino Joey. That is me, your host, or Joey or Wygen. Either way works. Thank you so very much for hopping on board once again today. Yep. We got a great show for you once again. Dylan Richardson will be on board later on to review the Super Bowl and discuss the aftermath of the Minnesota Vikings. No, just kidding. Of the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens, the world champion Baltimore Ravens, originally picked by yours truly back in August to win the Super Bowl over the Green Bay Packers. I thought I had the 49ers going to the conference final, I believe, but that's just one of those things. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be good, but yeah, first and foremost, though, before we get to that, we got a lot of Viking stuff to talk about, of course. Yeah, we got a lot of positive news with Adrian Peterson winning not only the MVP, but also the Offensive Player of the Year. But, of course, MVP, the most important of the two. Just amazing, amazing weekend for the Minnesota Vikings. Cris Carter also getting into the Hall of Fame. Finally, Cris Carter getting into the Hall of Fame. Got it like that. So, yeah, lots of positive Viking news. Now, if only we could have the ultimate positive news just once and finally win that championship. Well, there are multiple ways to interact with the show, of course, and yeah, we're going to get to your Facebook posts, your tweets, facebook.com/Purple Mafia Show, or at Purple Mafia Show on Twitter. Like the Facebook page, follow the Twitter if you could. That would be oh so terrific. Also, another way to help, even if you don't want to interact, you can at least support the show by following and or liking both of those accounts. One or both of those accounts would be greatly appreciated. One other way to help the show, of course, is to rate us on iTunes, hopefully a positive one. Get on there and, give us a rating. We need rating. We need some ratings on there. The more the merrier. It is also terrific. And one other final way to help the show is to tell a friend. Yes, tell a friend or more. Or more than one. That would be terrific as well. But even one is great too. So thank you, those of you that have been doing that over and over again. A guy that does that frequently and calls the show frequently, posts frequently, a very, very familiar name to this show. He joined in the ultimate, most direct way you can interact with me on this show, and that's to call into the phone lines. His name is Sebastian Balls, by the way. Yep, 209-736-7877, 209-736-7877. Mention what show you're calling in for, which is Purple Mafia. And do your statement, comment, shout-out, question, name and town, all that good stuff. Name and town. There we go. I said it a little better. That would be great to hear from you. So right now, let's just jump right into Sebastian Balls. It was it's a call that got split up into two because I guess the voicemail cuts off after 3 minutes. So it wound up about 5.5 minutes, which is just fine with me. So here we go. You have the floor, Sebastian Balls.
Hey, Joyce, Sebastian. All right. Yeah, so AP and VP. My father and I were talking about how Peyton Manning would probably win it because he's so nationally well-known and so high-praised. And, when I found out that he was MVP via your post on Facebook, I got an instant update to my phone. I was actually blown away, so I had to go on NFL Mobile from Verizon, of course. Little pitch there. And, watch it. I was actually really blown away that he did win it and won Offensive Player of the Year award. I found the joke pretty funny when Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre were up there saying how, you should have stayed retired, and Brett Favre's like, nah, some great quarterbacks should probably come back a few times over. And I thought that pretty funny because, he did come back a few too many times, but, one of those times kind of helped us get to the NFC Championship game. But, to get to my point is I'm making a bold statement, and I hope that I can stand by this. Assuming the Vikings have a good draft and get at least one or two good players through free agency, bold prediction, we will win the Super Bowl next year. Let me repeat that. We will win the Super Bowl. If we have a decent draft, our players develop, of course, and we sign a few good players. Does that mean cornerback, wide receiver, or quarterback? I don't know. I really, at this point, don't care, just because we need help all around the board. In some places, besides, of course, defensive line or whatever, linebacker, we could use a little help. Cornerbacks, we could use some help. Quarterback, obviously, we could use some help. And wide receiver, it's blatant. We need help. So, I don't know how we're going to improve those spots. What if we somehow, some players break out, as you want to call it? Maybe a Stephen Burton or a Jarius Wright or a Greg Childs. He could come back and be like, whoa, look at that guy, out of Arkansas. Because, of course, with his injury, we didn't get to see him at all. I would absolutely love to see Greg Childs and Jarius Wright be our top two wide receivers. And if that would happen, and of course Percy Harvin left us, which is bound to probably happen just the sheer fact if he doesn't want to be here. Or if he does, Jarius Wright and Percy Harvin, two speedster wide receivers, or we pick somebody else up or have Greg Childs or somebody develop, of course we could be elite. Christian Ponder could be elite if he learned, to pass to decent wide receivers. That would be amazing. Do I see it being possible? I don't know. I have no idea. Do we need another quarterback? Yeah, somewhere along the lines. As many people have pointed out, we could use a veteran backup. And personally, I say, okay, who are we going to get rid of? I don't want to see Bethel Thompson go. I really, really, really would love to see Joe Webb leave. Because I promise you, he will not start another game in the NFL unless if an injury happens. Especially the way he played against Green Bay. Just putting that out there. I know, Joey, you said give him a chance. We gave him a chance. We obviously found out he isn't anything to brag about. You knew that. You even said that, but you said give him a chance. And, of course, he didn't throw a pass during the season. Many will argue. You don't need to throw a pass during the season to complete a pass. He couldn't complete a pass for the first half. What was it, -2 passing yards? That's worse than Christian Ponder. That's worse than me. I could go out there, first time ever, they could be showing me any type of look. I'd just send anybody out there to go a little slant route and I'd hit them. He couldn't do that. He threw it at their feet. It was like Donovan McNabb out there. Mobile, terrible at throwing. And yeah, that's about it. Because I don't want to go any further than that. The point is we need a little bit of help. And if we get that help, we will win the Super Bowl. Thank you for letting me call in, Joey. And I'll be listening to all 3 of your shows, like usual.
And I thank you for that call-in, Sebastian Balls. Always a lot to say. There was a great call-in, though. Lots of passion. So many things to get to. I don't know if I can get to all of them without making 3 different shows. No, well, basically, right? No, in the future, though, let's keep a mandate for every caller. Let's try to keep it to about 3 minutes. Let's just say this was about 5, and that's perfectly fine. For this show, it's okay because it's only one call, and it's that time of year. But probably for future shows, especially during the regular season, like maybe in the off season, actually, like longer calls are okay, we'll say. But during the regular season, let's try to keep it to 3 or less because there might be like 3 or 4 of them, and if there's like 3 or 4 or 5 minute calls, that'd be kind of crazy. I think that'd be kind of crazy. Then it'd be like a 3-hour show, and I don't think people want a 3-hour podcast. So just saying, because there's a lot to get to in a longer call usually. So yeah, but no, that's perfectly fine, especially for this show and for the off season. I'm okay with it. Regular season, yeah. All right, you get the idea. Adrian Peterson, MVP. Yes, obviously it's something we're getting to on the show today, and we'll just talk about it briefly now as well. It's, absolutely awesome, spectacular, and a well-deserved award. He also got the AP Offensive Player of the Year award as well, so he was able to sweep the board in that. Comeback Player of the Year going more deservingly to Peyton Manning, I believe, because, he missed the entire season as a neck injury. That arguably is even more career-threatening than an ACL, to be honest, as weird as that might sound. So, I think Comeback Player of the Year, at least, Peyton Manning got something out of it. Obviously, that's still a pretty good award. I'm sure he would have highly preferred an MVP, but you know what? He's got like 3 already, so, I did see the Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre thing on YouTube. I didn't see it live, unfortunately, because I was busy. Had other things going on at the time, unfortunately. But, very cool to... It was cool to see them together for the first time, like off the field, I guess. It was nice to see them kind of joke around back and forth. It was also hilarious when Aaron Rodgers was like, well, that was awkward. No. Yeah, it was in a funny way, but it's okay. It's okay. It's just one of those things. So, now it's like kind of the brunt of the call. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And, that kind of stuff is actually, that's where the call is good to be longer because it's the off-season and there's so much to get to. In the off-season, so you think the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl, do you?
What?
That is going to be interesting. Yeah. That is going to be extremely interesting to see that possibly happen. I mean, it could happen. Obviously it can happen. 10-6 teams win the Super Bowl all the time. Yeah, not like this year's team. Yeah, the Vikings were 10-6. This year, why didn't they go? Well, obviously the quarterback. Just, you think, right? Wide receiver obviously would help as well, like you're mentioning, of course. It's just one of those things, though, where a lot of things need to go right. Okay, if this guy develops it, a lot of it's hypothetical. A lot of it is speculation. If this guy does okay and this guy goes okay, and it's like that with everything. Obviously, what's his name? Ray Lewis. Yeah, what's his name? Came back healthy, and that was a miracle. Basically, healthy enough to play and contribute. Took the Ravens to a world championship, like we're going to talk about briefly. Not briefly, but very soon with me and Dylan. It's just, it's one of those things where a guy making a comeback like that is. Things happen, and obviously it's just one of those deals where everything went right. That's really the the gist of the deal there is everything went right for the team. Guys were healthy at the right time. Guys were hot at the right time. And the injuries over the course of the pro season were minimal. And everybody played perfectly. That's what you need to win a Super Bowl, obviously. You need to be hot at the right time and stay hot, sustain it, stay healthy. A lot of luck needs to happen. A lot of lucky things need to happen, and you need to have big play people. Big play people. Joe Flacco, Anquan Boldin. Wouldn't Anquan Boldin and Joe Flacco look good in Minnesota Vikings purple rather than Ravens purple right now? Wouldn't they? Yeah, you think? Completely agree. Completely agree. Joe Webb, no. Joe Webb needs to go. I hope he has thrown his last, I don't even want to call it a pass, his last ground ball. I hope he's thrown his last ground ball with the Vikings. So I agree completely. I don't want Joe Webb back. Done. End of story. I would like a veteran backup to come in. Obviously, that's not a big, giant solution like, oh, yeah, the veteran backup's going to save the day. No, of course not. And I agree with Sebastian with that also. I remember earlier in the year, he's kind of like, well, what the heck is that going to prove? Or not prove, but what's that going to accomplish? Yeah, of course, keep McLeod Bethel-Thompson as the third-string guy. And if things work out, maybe they see the backup would be more somebody kind of an emergency guy, unless he's a very experienced player, which would be nice. And if McLeod Bethel-Thompson surprises some people and deserves to go in there, so be it. So be it. Not all in, and not as all in as Sebastian on Bethel-Thompson, but I'm certainly not brushing the idea aside either. No, I think he deserves at minimum a roster spot, and we'll go from there. At minimum, a roster spot. Childs and Wright, huh? Yeah, I like Jarius Wright as well, because obviously that's the possibility of Percy Harvin, hitching the wagons and leaving. That would really stink, just leaving out of here. I hope that doesn't happen. Obviously, a lot of people do. I'm going to get to Dave Hickey as well in a little bit here, because he posted on my page, my Facebook page. I prefer you guys, if you're going to make football-related, show-related type of stuff, put it on the Purple Mafia page, not on my Facebook page, because I'm not going to remember it. It's better if it's on the page. So, luckily, I did remember it. Dave Hickey made a comment earlier this week. You didn't respond to it, but it's just better if you put it on the page. So, obviously, I'm not upset about it at all. I'm glad you want it. Very great commentary by Dave Hickey on there. But it's just easier for me to have things in one place. Of course it would be. It'd be the same way if any of you were doing the show as well. All right, back to the point. Childs and Wright, huh? Really? Well, Childs, I think, is a long shot at best, ultimately, because I think he's damaged goods. He's like Brandon Roy for the Timberwolves, almost. So he's not quite that bad yet, but Wright, though, yes. Wright I think he's a long-term wide receiver in the NFL. Will he be a long-term starter? Well, that's just maybe, maybe. I'm not brushing that aside either. I think he can play in this league. He emerged nicely during the course of the year. Not a breakout stud necessarily, but he has that potential to be that guy at times. So, of course, Jarius Wright, I think, should be on the Minnesota Vikings for a while. Yeah, and hopefully he proves himself over the course of time. Greg Childs, I hope so. He's a big physical guy, but unfortunately, it's not helpful when you're falling down in a heap with 2 serious knee injuries on one play. It's like, that didn't last long. It's like an old beat-up car waiting to break down. So that's the unfortunate part. Yet he's not even an old beat-up car. He's more of a lemon. So I hope it works out. I would love it. We'll just have to wait and see with that. Yeah, Percy Harvin, I hope he's, I don't even know what to think about all that, honestly. It's frustrating, it's scary, and no one really knows the answer right now. Nobody outside of the organization really knows the answer, so I can't really go any further on it other than just pray to God he sticks around, really, honest to God. Now to kind of dig, right? Get what Dave Hickey had to say. It was obviously good stuff. Here we go. I hope this is all it was. Yeah, I think this is it right here. Hey, he says, "Hey Joey, love your show, Purple Mafia. I just wanted to ask you a couple questions about your thoughts on Percy Harvin. What have you heard about his situation with the coaches? Other than really, they're tense right now. They're hoping for the best. They talked it over. It sounds like uncertain, Dave. Yeah, it sounds uncertain right now. That's basically what I'm hearing from the coaches right now, unfortunately. Though, of course, I'm not like a full-blown insider. I should be. I should pursue that harder than I have been. And I will probably look to do that in the next, hopefully the next couple of months. No promises, though. No promises. I got a busy schedule, and especially during the spring and summer and fall. But, yeah, we'll just get back to the message here. He says, I don't know much about it. Is it contract problems because he is seriously underpaid? Or is he a bad seed? I thought because you're in the area and research Viking info, you might know more than me. Also, I would like to know if anybody from the Viking organization has ever reached out to you, players or coaches. I heard on one of your podcasts that you're a small fish in a big pond versus KFAN. Well, yep. Those are my words, not yours. And I ask this because I know you would give a straight answer and not a politically correct one, like we get from KFAN or Viking website. You're pretty much right about everything there, Dave. Yeah. Small fish in a big pond. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It is kind of an unfair advantage, obviously. I'm not a billion-year organization with, expensive studio, great microphones and everything. And no, I nobody has reached out to me as of today, Dave. Nobody has reached out to me. I hope someday that happens, though I need to do some of it on my own as well. I need to do some reaching myself. I need to be better about that. My busy schedule kind of prevents me from being more aggressive in that area at times. You work 2 jobs and try to do 3 shows. It gets kind of crazy. I also feel the same way about Timberwolves Explosion. It's kind of, and it's not so much versus KFAN, because I don't think KFAN covers the Timberwolves hardly at all. I think they don't give a crap about them, and I'm kind of annoyed with that. Let's just say there's some shows in town, they're just college students in an expensive college studio, and they seem to think they're all that, yet because, their audio is so fantastic, but they didn't pay 1 penny for it, so we're happy for them. Purple Mafia is basically a one-man show, at least, and the others as well, when it comes to the quote-unquote studio. It ain't much of a studio, folks. It is what it is. So, it's just one of those things. You get what you can afford at the time, and you hope to upgrade it over the course of time as well. It's just one of those things. So, yes, small fish in big pond, accurate statement. And, of course, no, I do not believe the college, any of those podcasts that are recorded in college studios are half as good as what I can produce ultimately, especially if I had a college studio, holy cow, or had anything near the quality product that they have to record with. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Anyhow, I better leave that alone. Yes, politically correct answers suck. Yeah, they do, and I'm usually against them unless it's like my hands are tied, which in this case, of course, they are not. So I hope that was a good answer. Thank you for that question, though. It's very strong, very good, very very good question there. Very heartfelt. I appreciate it. But about Percy Harvin now, is he a bad seed? Yeah, I kind of think he is, Dave. I kind of think so. Really, honestly, it's not even he's a bad seed. He's just got attitude problems. He's an extremely competitive player, which I love. Completely competitive person, which I can relate to as well. I can definitely relate to that. way too much sometimes. I'm very Jim Harbaugh-like at times. Very, yeah. I can relate to him pretty well, so that's why I feel pretty bad for him today. But I think he is kind of an attitude problem though, and contract issues. I don't know. Nobody's saying anything actually. The KFANs of the world aren't getting any information either. It's very tight-lipped over there in Winter Park and other places. Percy Harvin is a mystery to a lot of us out there. He's, Leslie Frazier and others, they're the ones that know, and they're not talking. That's the problem. And, Mr. Chris Spielman, yeah, right, Rick Spielman, Chris Spielman, Detroit Lions running linebacker back in the day, his brother. Rick Spielman gives you about as much information as a rock. He won't give you anything. So he just kind of mocks you and chuckles basically when you ask him any type of question. He just goes, again. That's pretty much all he says. Again, we're going to do the best we can to address the Percy Harvin situation and go from there. It's like, thanks for that. Dave Hickey also on the 20th says, these were back on January 20th, by the way. So, and I do deeply apologize, Dave, that these were missed on previous shows. Yes, he said, looks like it's going to be a Harbaugh Bowl. The 49ers are already in, and the Ravens are pretty much a lock because they're up by 15 with 2 minutes left. I will be pulling for the Ravens because I don't like the 49ers coach. Although I would like to see Moss finally get a ring. And if the 49ers won, then we could say we beat the Super Bowl champions. That would be kind of cool, but I'm still pulling for the Ravens. What are your thoughts, Skull Vikings? Yeah, ultimately I was pulling for the Ravens. John Harbaugh is actually my favorite coach in the NFL. He's definitely more likable than Jim Harbaugh. I can understand that. Although I can relate to Jim Harbaugh's competitiveness big time. Obviously, both of them are very competitive. John Harbaugh gets pissed off, too, but he doesn't go fly off the handle quite like Mr. Jim. Yeah, John Harbaugh is my favorite coach in the league. Second is Belichick. Third is Frazier. And fourth is Jim Harbaugh. Okay, sorry. Yes, fourth is Jim Harbaugh. All right, there. Now I'm done with the ones on my page. But, thanks for the insight. Thanks for the thoughts. I do appreciate that, Dave. I do. It's that was good stuff, and I deeply apologize again for being very late to the party with those. I apologize to you. All right, so now to some other threads. Brent Jacobson and Mark Carlson commenting on the little thread where I was like, Purple Mafia episode 135 is up. Or basically it was an actual direct link to it. Brent saying, hadn't heard that the two coaches were brothers anywhere. Really? Sarcasm. Yeah, it's like, it's one of those deals where it's going to be overblown constantly, and yeah, that's how it goes. That's just how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Carlson says, listen today at work, good show, great stuff. Going to have the season's over blues, I can tell. Picking up the Purple Mafia podcast has made this season so much fun. Thank you very much, Mark, and I've really enjoyed doing it as well. Just wish there was more success during the season, yet at least we got back to the postseason, finally. And then the thread, Adrian Peterson has won the AP NFL Offensive Player of the Year award with 2,097 yards. Just couldn't quite get the 2,100 plus, but that's okay. But Jacobson jumping in saying, when do they announce the MVP or MV Peterson? Soon, right? Yep, and apparently it was within a couple minutes because I got the alerts on my phone. Yes, sir. And of course I saw what I needed to see, and there it was. Bada bing, bada boom. And, of course, I can't believe I put a typo in there. Adrian Peterson had won the NFL MVP. Done deal. Don't you just love when you try to post something and you get a auto spell check just changes it to something you don't want? Yeah, I love it. Brent Jacobson commenting, saying, I wonder if he's the first Viking to ever win NFL MVP. No. Cedric Paulding jumping in also saying, yep, Fran Tarkenton won it in 1975. The year the Vikings probably could and should have won the Super Bowl, because that was the best Viking team. Neil Allen Thiesing, who's been a co-host on Brave the Wild, and I got to get him on again. Dang it, I missed having him on there. I haven't heard from him in a little while either. He says, "Wow, awesome, buddy." Malcolm McSween saying he is a man playing in a boys' league. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nice to hear from Cedric, by the way. Yeah, I haven't heard from him in a little while, and of course Neil as well. Great to hear from you guys. Yes, sir. I was saying also that, I put a thread also saying, like me and Dylan Richardson said on the last show, Kaepernick is the wild card of the game, and it's definitely looking that way. Todd Vandermeer out of Indiana says, don't look like the 49ers came to play. They lose. They look bad. Yeah, they did. The first half was pitiful. Yes, it was. So now we'll get to the actual independent posts by members of the Facebook page. Of course, facebook.com/Purple Mafia Show. Facebook.com/Purple Mafia Show. Yeah. All right. Well, doggone it. Let's see. Well, there's a lot to put up here. Excuse me. Sorry about that. It will start with Mark Carlson. Rudolph. Yeah, we got another MVP. Rudolph was the MVP of the Pro Bowl, and he really was great. Malcolm jumping in saying, Rudy. And, yeah, it was a dominant game by a guy that got thrown into the Pro Bowl at the last minute. became the 7th Pro Bowler. Him and Matt Khalil both going to the Pro Bowl for the first time. Hopefully the first of many, and I kind of think that will be the case. I think Kyle Rudolph and Matt Khalil will be in the Pro Bowl many times to come. It was nice to see him break out, explode like that in a game like that. It was cool. You don't see many Viking MVPs in the Pro Bowl. I remember Moss got it a while ago. That was fun. I think Adrian did too, though. Maybe, yeah, recently. Oh well. Brent Jacobson saying Joe Flacco's brother Mike is giving a base out wanting to play football. I'd be more than willing to give him a tryout for the Vikings. Unfortunately, though, yeah, Brent thought he was a quarterback. No, he's a tight end. Doggone it. And yeah, that's all we have. Tight ends. He already got Kyle Rudolph and John Carlson. So, who knows though? We'll see. Watch him go to the Ravens. Just watch, ladies and gentlemen. How much you want to bet he's going to the Ravens? Yeah. Yeah, Brent saying, I assumed he's a quarterback. And then he says, if not Flacco's brother, how about Aaron Rodgers' brother, quarterback Jordan Rodgers? You know what? Why not? This team needs something. Maybe give him some type of tryout, whatever. 4th, 5th guy and going into training camp. Who knows? Like back in July, in July or something when it comes to that point. Brent Jacobson jumps in again saying, as a Viking fan, I say thank God that the Ravens decided to take Ray Lewis at 26, so he didn't end up in Green Bay. That was way back in the draft. Yeah, could you imagine? Green Bay Packers missed on Ray Lewis by 1 pick. 26 in 1996. Man. The Packers apparently have the 27th pick. Gotta like that. Dave Hickey saying, yes, AP won the MVP. He deserves this more than any other player that I've ever seen. He is a true professional in every sense of the word. He is humble, faithful to God. I like that. Yep. And his family. Someone that everybody can look up to. This shows that if you strive to be the best and believe in God, there you go, and you work your butt off, you can achieve great things in life. Hopefully AP's work ethic rubs off on the rest of the team, and they can get that ultimate goal together. If not next year, then soon. Way to go, Adrian. You are a true most valuable player. Skol Vikings. That is gold star material, Mr. Dave Hickey. And I'm officially also giving the silver star to the awesome call by Sebastian Balls. In fact, Tech, you know what? We may have our first two gold star episode, because that call by Sebastian Balls was phenomenal as well. But great thoughts there, Dave Hickey. Yes, sir. Sebastian Balls' calls are always awesome, by the way, just to say that again. Dave, again, saying Adrian wins MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. There is no one more deserving of these awards. A true professional. In any sense in every sense of the word, a man who believes in God and a work ethic like no other. Hopefully his teammates work as hard as him this offseason and come back better than ever. Especially Ponder, he needs to work on his accuracy. Then maybe next year they can be in the big game. Oh, I hope so, Dave. I hope so. I hope so. That's what it's all about. Christian Ponder is the ultimate X factor for the success of the Minnesota Vikings. Because when Christian Ponder actually played well against San Francisco and against Green Bay in the Dome earlier this year, or during the season, obviously, the Vikings looked pretty damn good. They looked like a pretty damn good football team. Oh my. It was awesome. Malcolm responding saying, for sure, I love how he said he won't be there to accept the award next year because the Vikings will be playing in the Super Bowl. Oh, you gotta like that. I hope so. I hope they are. I mean, oh man. It could happen. It could happen. I mean, why not? We're developing we're going to be like what Baltimore was, I think, ultimately, where we're going to start to develop into something. And I remember earlier, before we knew Christian Ponder was hurt, I honestly believed that the Minnesota Vikings were going to go to the NFC Championship game, a la rookie Joe Flacco took the Baltimore Ravens to the NFC Championship game and then got beat by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I almost called them the Penguins. I don't know what that came from. Too much hockey on the mind right now. But yeah, lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road. Strong team, obviously. Defensive team. Everybody knows that. 49ers similar that way. I thought the Vikings would go to San Francisco in the NFC title game and lose, but at least they'd get there. And it would be a huge step in the right direction, we hope. Though in the past the Vikings teams, every time they go to the NFC title game, they drop off dramatically the next year. But no, I mean, hopefully the Vikings can be that Baltimore Ravens type of team. Maybe we're Ponder early on, kind of a mess, and Flacco kind of he was clutch though. Flacco was clutch in the postseason, even as a rookie, despite the fact his numbers were like putrid. But he was good enough to help the Ravens get to the NFC title game, and he just kept getting better and better and better. He's like a stock. Just kept going up, and bam, it finally reached its peak. $100 a share, or $600 a share, like the Apples and the Exxon Mobils. Yep. Once you win the Super Bowl, yeah, $600 a share. All right, anyhow, back to the Facebook page. Yes, mercifully for you out there, right? Malcolm jumping in again saying, Rudolph wins Pro Bowl MVP, Chris Carter. Yeah, Chris Carter, by the way, gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. And Adrian Peterson wins MVP of the league. Great week to be a Viking fan. He says, amen, you forgot Joey's podcast milestone. Congrats, Joey. Yeah, because I actually did not mention, I don't think I mentioned it on Purple Mafia, but episode 58 of Brave the Wild, one-man show. That's the Minnesota Wild podcast that I do. That's the more obscure one of the three. No, that show actually is doing, that particular episode's doing okay. For Brave the Wild standards, it's doing great. That was my 300th career podcast. Yeah, I started recording on the 28th, by the way. That was 5 years. 5 years of podcasting. I started recording on January the 28th, 2008, excuse me. Yeah, so this is actually my 5th full season of Purple Mafia also. Wow, that's weird, isn't it? So, 300 episodes of 300 episodes total. I started with Palladino Live and then started Purple Mafia in April 2008 and then got into Brave the Wild and Timberwolves Explosion in August 2008. Yeah, can't believe I've been at it that long. Sebastian jumping in again saying, try to get Alex Smith, yes or no? And I was like, what did I say? I was I said at minimum I would explore it, though not sure Alex Smith is a long-term solution. Sebastian saying, that's why it's a debate. Ha ha ha. And I said, yeah, it is a debate. I like Alex Smith enough to think that, well, he's better than what we saw at Ponder during last season. But late in the year when Ponder got past that marriage thing, conveniently he started playing better after the marriage. So, wondering if that really was a coincidence. I got to think that whole marriage thing was pretty distracting to not only Christian Ponder but the team. It's like kind of an annoying time for it. Ben Lieber chimed in on that on the Dan Barrero show, or actually, no, I forget who he was talking to. No, it was on Dan Barrero. Just like, what the hell, man? I mean, talk about distraction. Can't you just wait till the off-season? That's basically what Ben Lieber said. A horrible paraphrase of it, but yeah. You get the gist. Sebastian saying, guess Minnesotans have Jamaican accents. He was making fun of a Super Bowl commercial. Yeah, it's kind of, some Super Bowl commercials. I thought for the most part, they're very underwhelming compared to what they used to be about 20 years ago. I mean, 20 years ago, like the Air Jordan, that's the best Super Bowl commercial of all time, in my opinion. Air Jordan and Hair Jordan. Yeah, Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan, the little debut. Michael Jordan with Looney Tunes that about 4 years later led to Space Jam when Michael Jordan made the comeback. Oh, man. Best Super Bowl commercial of all time. Air Jordan and Hair Jordan. Though I thought the best Super Bowl commercial of this year, it absolutely has to be that Deion Sanders one. It does. Where it's like, where he was getting drafted by the Chiefs or whatever, where the he looked like he was from 1974 or something with big hair and a huge mustache. Actually looked like he was 50. He actually looked older than he does now with that fun outfit, but it's just a bit. Yeah, it's, Mark Carlson talking about the power outage. Sebastian responding to that. Yeah, he said, or Mark Carlson saying, "Holy cow, lights out." Sebastian saying, "Shows they have too many homes. They're having to power here there." Mark saying, will someone please plug that extension cord back in? Lee Hepner. Oh, I don't think he's commented before, so welcome aboard. Yeah, welcome aboard. Nice to meet you, Lee. He says, should have charged that phone at home. What do you think of the game so far, Mark? He says, Mark says, very interesting game. Love the hype. Always like a good game. The playoffs are fun to watch, and the big game is no letdown either. Mark continuing saying, crazy, the lights went out. Jokes are already flying here at home. Lee saying, brothers, hey, what a family dinner they will have next Sunday. Yeah, really. Oh, man. Mark saying that would be fun to be there. Send them to settle at a buffet. Yeah, really. Oh, man. Well, we're winding down, folks, and then we can get to Dylan Richardson here. Malcolm saying, this is a really nice comment here. Thanks for the great season, Joey. I'm glad I finally got a smartphone and came across this podcast. Gonna be a long-time listener for sure. P.S. How about a draft episode? Thank you very much, Malcolm. I really appreciate what you had to say there. That means a lot. It does. Like the whole big fish, small pond thing. I mean, guys like you are the foundation of this show, without a doubt. Absolutely the foundation. So thank you so much, Malcolm. I really appreciate it. Everything you had to say there. About the draft episode, yeah, that's coming up in, I'll probably start to kind of preview and talk about it around the March area. It'll be like, first it'll be free agency. There'll be a free agency episode in probably really, like the early half of March, and then the late half of March will be like a draft preview. But before that, of course, the next episode, which will be maybe in a week or two, State of the Vikings. And I'm going to also post a thread. I'm even going to bring it up when I talk with Dylan also. But, yeah, I'm going to post a thread on there where I will ask you guys to post a thread on the Facebook page, that is, where I will ask you guys to name your Minnesota Vikings MVP, biggest surprise. Probably keep that as a player, but you could throw in a situation as well, like the fact the Vikings made the playoffs or whatever. But MVP, biggest surprise, we all know what the MVP is, by the way, and biggest disappointment of the year. Biggest surprise, MVP, biggest surprise, and biggest disappointment. Simple. But I'll post a thread right now so I don't get you guys posting on there before I have the thread, because I like to keep it slightly more organized. I don't like things all over the place. Then I go crazy, and the show sounds like, weird and crappy. Fran Tarkington, according to Brent Jacobson, the final post on Facebook, saying that he made some great suggestions, in my opinion. He was saying the Vikings to keep Christian Ponder, Percy Harvin, and to get a number 2 quarterback and a big wide receiver. So, yeah, I'm going to check that article out. I actually haven't read it yet. I'm going to check it out right now, but, hey, check it out, guys. Brent posted it last night. I'm sure it's worth it. I would love to look at that. It is apparently, that's Pioneer Press, but it's, of course, TwinCities.com on there. So, yeah, a worthy article, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to reading that, actually. All right, so that will conclude the Facebook page. Apologize if it seemed a little bit wacky, a little bit bouncing around, but that's what you expect. It's the off season, and it's been about 2 weeks, so you got 2 weeks of posts on there. And of course, I needed to get back to what Dave Hickey had to say. Again, I am never the type to ignore anybody's posts on there. I'm just not, So I apologize for that. There may come a day where there's so many posts on there I can't get to everything, but I'll try to get at least to everybody's name at least once if I can. Not quite at the point where I have like 3,000 people talking to me just yet, but someday that might happen. If you guys tell a friend about the show, or 2 or 40 or 45, there we go. Oh, boy. Okay, now we'll get to some Twitter interactions. Yes, there's not too many, so I promise it won't be too long. Not too much. So we have Sam Gupta actually saying something pretty nice on here. It's at Beagle Breath. At Beagle Breath. That's an interesting Twitter handle. But yeah, I've heard Sam Gupta before on the Facebook group, I think, in the past. I don't think he ever joined the Purple Mafia Facebook page. PurpleMafia.com/Purple Mafia Show. And of course, for Twitter, it's at Purple Mafia Show. But Sam mentioning that he just finished the January 17th episode of Purple Mafia. Great job, guys. It was well done and entertaining. So thank you very much, Sam. Do appreciate that. Holly Brooks posting a couple of group Facebook, or not Facebook friends, but Twitter friends type of deal. She's saying Happy Pro Bowl Day, aloha. And it was a Happy Pro Bowl Day for the Vikings. Justin in Rochester, that being Justin Day, at JDay_24, saying, not all mine either, but man, she was insane. And he's regarding the halftime show. I'll say this real quick. Not a fan. I'll just leave it at that. Not a fan, not my style. Yeah. that's just it's a to each their own type of thing. I opted to turn the TV off or at least turn the channel and play a little brief Xbox game because I don't know. I think a lot of that stuff was a little bit overrated and not my cup of tea. That's just me. Dylan Richardson retweeting when I said we have a football game, folks. Yes, and yeah, I enjoyed that. Finally, something to enjoy there. Finally, oh man. Yeah, I mean, John Harbaugh got extremely animated when given reasoning for the power outage as well. Yeah, it was interesting to see that. That was another tweet that was retweeted by Dylan Richardson. Yeah, I was also talking about all the Ravens sizing up their rings already, a worthy champion. And that was when Jones ran the ball back after that, before the power outage. Yeah. The final tweet of the week, Hollybird, at Hollybird, that's Holly Brooks, saying, these Harbaughs are truly great coaches. She's retweeting me saying it, and then she responds back with, bad brother bowl. yeah, bad brothers. I like them. I like them. I don't know. I don't like them. I mean, I know not everybody does, but I especially like John Harbaugh more. But, yeah, we'll just leave that as is. So now, I apologize it's been so long to finally get to Dylan Richardson, but that's just the way it goes. This is a very, very long episode, so I guess it sounds like a lot of you guys enjoy the show. Hope you continue to enjoy it, and we'll be right back with the man, Dylan Richardson.
Let's win this game. Skol Vikings, honor your name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight, 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 fight. Go Vikings, run up the score. You'll hear us yell for more. V-I-K-I-N-G-S. Skol Vikings, let's go. Skol Vikings, let's win this game. Skol Vikings, honor your name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight, 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 fight. Go Vikings, run up the score. You'll hear us yell for more. V-I-K-I-N-G-S. Skol Vikings, let's go.
And we are back here on Purple Mafia, episode number 136, which is a reminder for all you iPod, MP3 player, and Android users out there. You got the iTunes, you got Double Twist for Android devices, and possibly Stitcher very soon.
Yes, very soon. Actually, I sent in all the information, and I'm just waiting to hear back from them. They don't let everyone in, so it's somewhat of an exclusive club, but I believe that Purple Mafia and at least Timberwolf Explosion will be making it in there shortly. I'm just waiting for the confirmation email.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It'll be an honor to be a part of the Stitcher group. The exclusivity. Yep, so yes, this is Dylan Richardson. We are back for Dylan Richardson with Joey Owygen, that is, and we are back to review the Super Bowl once and for all.
You know what's funny, Joey? You know, I almost slept through doing this. No one else here knows this. My sleep pattern has just been so all off, and you know what? I think I just figured it out.
What's that?
I think it could be that I have I'm battling with a bout of depression because football is now over.
That's the thing. This was it. Yeah, now we got to wait until August just for a lousy preseason game. Ugh.
And 49er fans, welcome to the club. Now you know how we feel, especially Vikings.
Yes.
And just imagine, 49er fans, if every Super Bowl you ever went to, you lost.
Just imagine. I mean, they finally lost a Super Bowl. They have lost their virginity. Yep.
Who do you think's more happy about that? Steeler fans? Because now it's like, yeah, you guys lost 1-2 now? Or, other than Ravens fans. I wonder who's more happier about that. Maybe Seahawk fans? I don't know. Divisional? I don't know.
Could be. Or like just, you think, a team like, well, obviously Dallas, I'm sure, and their old rivalry, which I like. I was always on the 49ers side in that rivalry just because. Poor Jim Towers. No, I'm kidding. Then again, they beat them a lot in the 90s, so they kind of got revenge. They finally lost a Super Bowl. I mean, they had that Chicago Bulls like aura to them, where Michael Jordan's Bulls got to the finals, they won. They almost had it 6-0, but nope.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing game. To really tell you the truth, I don't really want to skip ahead, but let's go ahead. In the third quarter, when the Ravens came out and returned that kick, and I'm like,
"Yep,
wow, this is done, son. This is over." So I'm in it for just watching new commercials now. I guess it's going to be a snore fest, and we're going to be sitting here twiddling thumbs, and it's going to be one of those blowout Super Bowls again, back in the day, and then poof. Someone hit the switch on the lights.
Yeah, it completely changed everything. It really did. I mean, it was, it really looked like those old Super Bowls where it looked like Baltimore, New York, back in 2000.
I thought, like I was saying before, it looked good. Visually, it was, appealing to have some darkness
that was cool.
On the field. It kind of gave it, a cinematic feel, like you're watching a movie like North Dallas 40 or, something like that. It looked, aesthetically, on camera, it looked really good. And I thought there was plenty of light to play, but, they're not going to do that.
No, I thought it was awesome. Yeah, I agree with you because it had that old 1976, 77, early Walter Payton era look. It's like when you look at the old Walter Payton videos on those NFL films, like we were talking about off air. Yeah, it had that look when you saw Purple People Eaters against the Bears or Cowboys, something like that back then. It had that darker NFL look that doesn't exist anymore.
It had that old school NFL films from Super Bowl 13.
It had that it had the charm that's never been matched. It really hasn't been matched. It doesn't exist anymore. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, everything's bright and beautiful and overexposed, unfortunately. But hey,
a lot like
you know who would have really loved that lighting setting was Jim McMahon.
Oh yeah,
with his sensitivity to light.
Yep, him or Tony Soprano, is it? Sperano. I keep getting those words mixed up. Miami coach, yeah, they both have that sensitivity.
I was going to say Tony Soprano, huh?
Soprano.
Who's been watching HBO Go? You reliving some of the Sopranos on there? Who's his assistant coach? Paulie Walnuts?
Yes. And then the owner is Michael Corleone. This team is done. Okay, sorry. This is his last coaching game. Next thing you know.
We're going to follow him with baseball bats.
Basically. Or just, you take him in the car. We're going to take him to the airport. Next thing you know, there's someone waiting for him in the back seat.
With concrete shoes for him to put on.
Oh, man. Yep, that or that metal wire. Oh, scary.
Welcome to the Mafia.
Yes. The hello, goodbye version of it, right?
So back on the game, when the lights went out, since I live in this area, so there was a song that popped in my head immediately when the lights went out, and I'm surprised no one put a little hook. And I don't think I've seen it on Twitter or on Facebook or anything, but there's a Journey song called "Lights," and Journey is heavily tied into the San Francisco area. for baseball, their theme song was "Don't Stop Believin'" in 2010.
Yeah.
And then, 2012, obviously, is kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And so immediately I thought of lights. When the lights go down in the city.
Don't stop.
And so that song popped into my head, and I'm like, well, now we're going to prolong this, possible blowout Super Bowl. And I think the delay was, something like 37 minutes. So I wonder how many more millions of dollars they made on running ads during that delay.
Yep. It's an inside job.
You know what else was funny is that the CBS studio went out with Nance, and they had to throw it to Tasker down on the sidelines, and he was like, kind of fumbling, you gotta think, give the guy credit. He was trying to think on his feet. He's not a main guy.
Not a host, no.
Yeah, he's not one of those guys that, obviously, or else they would have had him up in the booth, but he's not one of those sideline reporters that are one of the best. Mm-hmm. But, he was available. It was just kind of funny.
It was awkward, yeah. It's just like...
Here in the New Orleans stadium, Superdome.
Dome roof? No, sorry.
What they should have did instead of tossing him on is just immediately gone to commercial, but who knows what was going on. Only the cameras were live, so maybe they couldn't cue that, or I don't know. It was kind of funny, though.
Mm-hmm. It was just one of those situations that comes up, one of those phenomenons, and then you're stuck on the spot. Yeah, you're the guy. You're the man.
You know what I thought was hilarious is everyone on Twitter was tweeting, "Oh no, it's Bane from Batman."
Mm-hmm. Oh, that'd be fun. Oh man.
I don't know if you saw the recent Batman movie, but Bane takes over basically the Super Bowl and explodes the bottom of the field.
Oh man!
And so the entire bottom of the field drops in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that would be perfect. That would have been perfect if that happened. Oh man, I actually didn't see that yet. I need to see it still. You spoiled it. No, I'm kidding. No, I'll check it. I need to get around
it.
It.
It's in the previews. It's in one of the trailers. So
yeah, I saw something about that. So it sounds familiar. That's why I kind of rang a bell when you mentioned it. It's like that sounds familiar. Yes.
I had about 15 or 20 people on Twitter just saying, "Bane! Oh my God, it's Bane!"
Just imagine if there was a bat signal up in the, up in the ceiling. That'd have been awesome.
That would have been funny.
Oh,
I would have loved that. That would have been great.
I am Batman. Harbaugh, I am Batman.
We're getting super sidetracked, but Batman sounds a lot. He sounds a lot like Judge Dredd as well. Mm-hmm. They talk the same.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I am the law. Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
Welcome to the Superdome.
Mm-hmm. I am.
So, anyways, a fantastic game, I thought, and you know what, Jelly, you had it on lock from day one. You had it on lock with your Baltimore Ravens pick.
Oh man!
And your guy Joe Flacco. Now he's set to sign a huge, gigantic contract and well deserving. I think he tied for the most touchdown passes in a Super Bowl. I think is 11 with the greats of Kurt Warner and Joe Montana.
Yeah.
And just a stand-up game and kind of got that monkey off of his back.
Yeah, it was all about the playoff run. Yeah, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, which ties Montana for the all-time, just best efficiency, him and Kurt Warner, over the course of the postseason, where Flacco really was the MVP of the postseason. And in the past, I was saying how this team, I can say this for the final time now, where this team was a stock. Every year it seemed to get a little bit better. Like back his first year, you could tell something was going on with this guy as a playoff quarterback. Even though his numbers were not that good, he was still doing enough to get this team to win on the road. we're way back. Joe Flacco's rookie season took them to helped them get to the AFC title game against Pittsburgh, where that's where his inexperience came out, which could be related to the 49er quarterback at this point, which is the beginning of possibly a very long, successful career for him, hopefully, in his case, Colin Kaepernick. But, took them to the conference finals, and then it seemed like every year got a little bit better, a little bit closer to their ultimate goal, which is reaching the Super Bowl and hopefully winning it. And there it is. It's now the stock has reached its peak. They're world champions. Joe Flacco became more and more playoff tested. He was able to beat the Patriots on the road in the past and did it again this year. And just to see him do what he's been able to do over the past, 3, 4, 5 years now, it's been truly remarkable to watch him develop and watch the Baltimore Ravens finally reach the pinnacle. They did it. And I was saying this was the year they were finally going to do it. And then I came off of it when I heard about Ray Lewis's torn bicep. I thought that was about it. And then next thing you know, you hear about no weapon formed against him shall prosper. And he's Robo-Arm, like we like to call him now. And Robo-Arm, we're going to remember this 12, 15, 20 years from now. Robo-Arm. You remember that? Yep.
Yeah.
Help them go all the way, despite all the drama, all the loud screaming and spit flying all over the place. When he's halfway crying, halfway screaming, whatever it is, it led to a championship.
Another good thing. I still kind of I thought for a second, I was like, man, if the Ravens win, watch, they're gonna give the MVP to Ray Lewis.
Like, no.
Just because the NFL loves their names, and it seems like if any Manning is in a Super Bowl and they win, guess who's going to win the MVP?
Yeah.
I still don't think that Peyton should have won in 2006. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah. It was.
Anyways, so yeah, it was a good moment for him. He's going to dance off into the sunset, whatever he calls his little dance there. I don't know. It's not the Dirty Bird. It's something else, isn't it? But do you know the name of that dance that he does? Is there a name for it?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, I
just kind
search.
of the Ray Lewis.
That no weapon formed against. No.
I saw that today he did that in the Baltimore Stadium with the Lombardi Trophy in his hand. So that was kind of funny, but hopefully, I kind of do hope that he takes this moment and retires like he has been talking about. But I kind of get that feeling that he's gonna, maybe come out and try to play another year. That's a big possibility because, you spend so much time with that Sunday, and it's hard to put it away when you can still play.
It really is. It's they have the bug in them. All the real true competitors in the sports world have that bug in them, and it's hard to get rid of it. Michael Jordan came back twice. Second time not as successful, but the first time was the most successful comeback in the history of professional sports. So many other guys, they come back to coaching when you think they're done. Like you thought Bill Parcells was done many years ago, came back with the Cowboys. It's like, okay. Again, that one not as successful either, but, still help them become at least a decent team from being terrible for a while there. So, Favre, obviously, we don't even need... He came back about 6 times, 7 times maybe.
It's just like how I tell, say, local kids here playing high school football. It's like, man, you play until you can't play anymore.
Yeah, you love it too much.
You just keep going and try to get to that next level and that next level. Mm-hmm. I'm friends with a kid that played local ball here, and he went to UCLA, and he was a walk-on, and he made the team, but he, had to sacrifice a lot. He had to drive about an hour one way to get his bulk up. He was a big kid, like size-wise. I think he was like 6'3", 6'4", but he was really skinny. He was probably about 210, 220 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So that size and trying to hit that Division 1A level, you got to put some weight on. And he did. I think he got up to right around 280. And he did the most. I think he got up to about I want to say like 40 or 250 his freshman year, and that's and he made the team. So I just saw that he's trying to make that next level. Not so much NFL, but I forget what he said it was. I don't think it's Canadian League either. It's like some other
arena football. No.
Yeah, kind of like
similar.
Maybe like something. I'd have to look and see. It's something like the American Football League startup type of thing, like it's semi-pro or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, just keep going, and that's how I've always recommended to these kids is you play till the wheels fall off, or someone tells you no 15 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you enjoy it so much, and keep at it. Maybe something will, maybe you'll reach whatever goal you're chasing. Like whatever it is.
Definitely, yeah. And
the Ravens reached theirs finally. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, it took them a little while.
Yeah, but they got it. Yeah, it took time. They got the right coach, the right quarterback. A lot of people. I can't believe how many people kept saying when I'd ask, "Do you like Joe Flacco?" and they'd be like, "No." Like, really? I was like, I really? I mean, this is a guy. He's not Tom Brady. He's not Drew Brees. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's the best. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. That's something he said, but I don't agree with that. But he playoff tested. He's very clutch, extremely clutch, and without a doubt, he was, like they say in hockey, the playoff MVP. You get the award for the whole thing, not just that one game. And he was the winner of both.
Yeah, he played. Pardon the pun. Lights out.
He did. He literally.
He pretty much did, but that comeback in the third quarter was pretty amazing, especially after that kick return. I couldn't believe that what I was seeing. I was like, "Holy cow, we got a game! This is cool. I'm vested back into the game. I don't have to watch just commercials now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be a blowout. We're within 3 points here. Oh wow, they're only one score down. This is going to be cool." And unfortunately, that thing that happened in the end zone, which I think was the right call. I believe it was on Crabtree where, Jim Harbaugh lost his mind on the sidelines asking for a hold on 4th and goal. You got to love 4th and goal with the game on the line in the Super Bowl, the last game of the season. It's for the championship. Pretty much if they get in the end zone, that's pretty much a victory there for the 49ers. But just literally like one step short.
Yeah, I mean, that's gotta ache. Yep.
And a penalty could have went either way, because if you watch the replay, Crabtree kind of pushed off as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of think that it was good that the refs let him play in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
And the outcome is what it was. And I was thoroughly impressed with the 49ers comeback, and I was very happy that it was a game, because there for a while it was looking like it was going to be a blowout. It essentially was in the third quarter anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it smelled like blowout the whole time until the momentum completely changed, seeing the 49ers blow back as quick as they did. But 4 minutes, they're nearly tying the game up. That last play, I mean, that had to... Oh, I could just imagine how much that stings for a guy that, as crazy as he is, I can relate to him, the competitiveness. You want to win so bad. You're so on the doorstep, and then to get it pulled away from you. But, yeah, really quick, though, also how you mentioned that, literally the final play of the game, as we can call it, because you don't really want to call the kickoff the final play. The real final play was the double push-off, we could call it, or a hold/push-off. Yeah, I was with Marcus the Forecaster, who's also, the co-host on Timberwolves Explosion, and he said the exact same thing you did. Yeah, that it's kind of like an offset situation where you either call penalty on both or on neither because both of them interfered with each other. And the pass was terrible. Or not terrible, but too high, I think.
I couldn't believe, like, when it left his hands, I'm like, oh, man, he's just throwing it up and saying, go get it.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought he was going to go for Davis there, because usually a tight end has a pretty good release off the line when it's, a goal line situation. But yeah, he kind of put it up there, and really it was about a step short.
Yeah, and to me it seemed like the pass was a bit. I think it was going to be out of bounds. I think Crabtree may have had to go out of bounds to even retrieve it. I think, but. Because it seemed kind of high and out, didn't it? A little bit?
Yeah, it definitely would have been one of those toe tapping type of plays. It would have had to have been.
Yep. A.K.A. Santonio Holmes in Super Bowl, I forget what number it is, but the 2008, Steelers Cardinals. Yep, it would have to be like that. It
would have had to have been just like that.
Yep. Oh, I was so pissed. God, I did not want Pittsburgh to win that game, and
yeah, I was in the same boat because I'm a Kurt Warner fan, so everywhere he went, I was rooting for him.
That was a cool team too. The Arizona. Larry Fitzgerald was just unbelievable in that game. It was kind of similar too, where Pittsburgh was kind of winning the whole time. Arizona came storming back, looked like they had it, and then doggone it, they couldn't stop them for anything. That defense was their Achilles heel forever. Arizona still is. Yep, literally
still is. Like, even if you look at this season, they were like number one for like 4 games or 5 games.
Yeah, it's a good start.
They're looking pretty good, and then you start playing the real NFL teams. Once they got out of their divisional play.
Yeah, then it was completely lights out the other way, you could say. Lights out for them, Curtains. Like, they didn't win another game, did they? That was embarrassing.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. God rest Ken Wisenhunt's job there.
Oh, I know. Isn't it crazy how you can go from top of the mountain to bottom of the barrel?
Yeah, in a fairly short amount of time. Like, not really short, but, yeah, it definitely happened. Happened to Billick, too, the former, the first Ravens Super Bowl, where a lot of people seemed to they were almost talking about Ray Lewis, like, oh, I want Ray Lewis to get a ring, but he already had one. 2000, yep, they demolished those stupid Giants that demolished the Vikings. Yes. 2 weeks earlier, 41 donut, we like to call it around these parts. But yeah, it seemed like early on, too, like a kind of a thing we can get to here is the Niners. What the hell was that in the first half? Because their play calling seemed to be just not related to what they've been doing earlier in the postseason. Their defense was off a bit. Seemed like off kilter. Kaepernick was completely flat for the whole first half of the game.
It reminded me a lot of the Atlanta game.
Yeah.
Where
bad.
Yeah, where they had to, come back after a really crappy first half, and they damn near took it, but just a step short in the end zone.
Literally. Oh, I mean, yeah, I keep replaying that in my head right now, and like all the last few days, just I feel bad for Jim Harbaugh. I did. I mean. He kind of got. I mean, maybe I don't really feel bad, ultimately because it's just one of those things. But
he's kind of a crybaby whiner on that sideline, though, because they finally got to see, like, some of the analysts were actually talking about a fact that I've been kind of talking about for a while, is that every call.
Yeah.
I think I even made a little comment about it on Twitter about how every call that went against him, he's crying and whining like he's, an NBA player.
Kobe Bryant. Yeah, the Kobe Bryant to the world. The infamous, hey! Every time Kobe Bryant drives to the basket, you see his hands fly in the air. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, if it didn't go in, or even if it did go in, he's still complaining.
Yep. Another thing, as annoying as Kobe can be that way, actually Derek Fisher would piss me off even more. That guy is really irritating. Ugh. There you go, Timberwolves explosion rant right there. Of course, that's on iTunes, yes?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I ranted about that guy for a long... I mean, you talk about Twitter, like going ape shit on Twitter. Yeah, people were laughing at me for a while about that one night when, the guy ran into Greg Steamsma. They called the foul on, that's the backup center for the Timberwolves, by the way, that no one's heard of. But no one that isn't a good Wolves fan. But yeah, then this foul was called on Steamsma instead of Fisher, and then Fisher was acting like a complete jackass the whole time. Yeah, I was like, whatever, So yeah, that's why I was ranting like crazy on Twitter, like I like to do on Purple Mafia sometimes too. Yeah, it was just, it was amazing the way, like you said, the 49ers did come roaring back, just like the Atlanta game, but a step short. Flacco, Bolden, Jacob B. Jones had the Ravens look like they had this thing completely beat, and I've been a big fan of Anquan Bolden as well, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've loved that guy for years. Arizona.
He is like a beast, and he was... when he got the ball, it was pretty fun to watch him when he gets the ball. But, if you remember back, Kurt Warner almost retired from seeing that hit on Anquan Bolden where it just busted his jaw. And
that was bad.
He said it was like the worst thing he's ever seen in football, and he actually considered retiring directly after that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, he didn't, and... the following year went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was amazing what they were able to pull off. And Bolden, I think, is the ultimate big game playing against a physical team receiver because, you need that first down, that 15-yard, play, that big play that can keep things moving. That's the guy. He's probably the best in the league at getting that physical, in traffic catch that you need, to keep the game going and keep your team alive. I mean, I love Anquan Bolden. I would just do just about anything to have him on the Vikings right now, today. Make a playoff run.
He had a pretty good game. 6 receptions, 104 yards, and a touchdown. A long catch of that 30 yards that looked almost effortless. That was kind of a weird play where you just kind of hit him, and it was like, wow, geez, that was kind of a long... that just kind of came out of nowhere.
It did.
I think one of the bigger stories is that a lot of people have jumped on the Kaepernick bandwagon, and I'm not so sure yet. We're going to have to see what this dude does next year, but it's like everyone is... basically jumped on this bandwagon and was like, oh, he's the best, quarterback in the league, possibly.
Superstar.
His upside is tremendous, which I can agree his upside may be tremendous, but let's see how he does playing a full season.
Yep, that's one of the biggest, that's the X factor for the 49ers' future right now, without a doubt. Because, obviously Jim Harbaugh is going to be there. The defense is still pretty young, which is a very good thing. Keep that foundation there. The offensive line is very good as well, the Iupatas of the world. And Frank Gore is getting a bit older, but he's still got it for now. Cross your fingers, or fingers crossed. Yeah, Kaepernick, the X factor maybe in all of football right now. If the 49ers, if Kaepernick can be that elite talent, there could be a possible dynasty in San Francisco. Where if not, they're going to be hoping to get one Super Bowl out of all these other good players.
And Frank Gore kind of quietly had a good game, 110 yards and a touchdown.
Strong.
That was pretty good, and they're going to have to do something about the whole Frank Gore situation. Like you said, he's getting older, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if they draft somebody this year. just to kind of fill the hole because, the injury possibilities, and they're still a team that has to run the ball quite efficiently, and the same could be said for almost any NFL team, but this team definitely with a defense as good as that defense can be, it seemed like they didn't really show up very well in this Super Bowl, but
yes, yep.
But I still think it's a pretty good defense. Keeping the offense on the field and keeping that defense off is really going to help them out.
That's the biggest key. Obviously the running game is part of that, and possibly adding another receiver, a Bolden type, because Bolden is a free agent. Where will he stay in Baltimore, or will he go to New England? Possibly.
That's another good topic right there too, because Baltimore's losing quite a few people to free agency. Well, they haven't technically lost them yet. I think they will re-sign Flacco, and I think they got a really good shot at Ed Reed. But there's a couple of linebackers that it's going to be kind of iffy. They're probably going to be able to get more money somewhere else, so they might be gone. Yeah. So you could be looking at some like 3 or 4 starters off of this roster on the defensive side leaving.
Ray Lewis,
and that's going to hurt. Yeah, and then you're losing Ray Lewis. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yep, jinx, right? No.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, San Francisco, a Anquan Bolden type would be like what the doctor ordered. Like there it is. Like
I'm pretty impressed with Crabtree kind of emerging from obscurity. Now, I've always known he's had talent.
Yeah.
I think he was a Texas Tech Red Raider, and he made some spectacular catches for them. And I always liked watching the guy play. He had tremendous talent, but it seemed like finally he kind of kicked it in gear towards the end of the season, and definitely in the playoffs, and had a good showing even at the Super Bowl. You look at his statistics for the Super Bowl, he would have been right in there for MVP. He only had 5 receptions, but he had 109 yards with a touchdown.
And he definitely had a strong game. He did. And, and he's, like you said, obscure, because he was a 10th overall pick, but it's like, where is he? Where is this guy?
Is he going to pan out? What's going to happen?
It took to his 4th year, but there it was, 1,100 yard, 9 touchdowns. Before that, couldn't break 1,000, and career high in touchdowns was 6 in his 2nd year. So, a long time.
I think he was battling a nagging injury too the last couple of seasons as well. But it was kind of good to see him emerge.
Yeah, finally became that number 1 receiver, or 1A, you could say maybe. It ain't Randy Moss, I'm telling you that.
I wonder if old Randy will be back on the squad again. Like we've been saying for every one of the shows, he's more of like a player coach, I would think. It wouldn't surprise me if Randy Moss became like a positional coach in sometime in the future. Possibly a wide receiver coach.
I wonder, do you think he has the work ethic to be that? Or
I do. Nice. I think he gets a bum rap.
Yeah.
And you should know too, he's done some. I think anyone that doesn't live in the Minnesota community might not know. I mean, I don't, but I've found out a few things about him. Is that he's a definitely charitable person, and he was really really loved in Minnesota for a while, and I think the rest of the country kind of had a bad kind of like a bad taste in their mouth about him because of his past, but I think he's actually a stand-up guy, and I think he would probably excel. I don't know if he'd make it past anything but a positional coach, but I think he could be really useful in that situation.
I'd personally like to see it, and for that franchise, that'd be great. I'd love to be a part of that franchise. I don't know if you want me to say that, but
I don't know if it would be a 49er thing, but probably somewhere.
Maybe,
because I think he does have a lot to offer. especially rookies coming in on how to handle yourself. And I think a lot of that also stems from Chris Carter, because Chris Carter was kind of the same way when he came out for the draft, and he had a lot of bad talk about him, and look where he wound up. He's actually going to be an inductee of the Hall of Fame, and well deserved, I think.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think he definitely earned it as well. It took a little while because he wasn't always as endearing as some other players were at times. But yeah, I mean, obviously for play on the field, which matters the most, he absolutely deserves to be in, without a doubt. And like you said earlier, that is true about Randy Moss being charitable. He was always good with the young people. So
yeah,
like always very, kind to young people. Maybe not as much with adults, but wink, wink. But it's he is there for young people. And when it comes to coaching, I could see him. Yeah, I could see him bringing young guys along, like probably Michael Crabtree. I'm sure he had something to do with his development. From what we heard, it was great with Percy Harvin. I mean, Percy Harvin exploded. Randy Moss was here for a month. a month. Yep, a month.
A month.
Yeah, like you like the way I said that?
I think he does have some kind of future, whether or not it'll be like a positional coach or maybe possibly some kind of advisor or I think it would be good to at least have him somewhat of a liaison for the new guys coming in. Like they do a bunch of draft classes where they have to attend. Like I think they even have like a financial one. I think it'd be good for Randy to be involved with that process as well, if he's not already involved some way, somehow else with an organization. But I think there's a future somewhere in the NFL for Randy Moss after he can't kick the tires and light the fires anymore, which is
pretty soon.
Really soon.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe one more year, maybe not. And yeah, I could see him kind of being like if he's not in the NFL, which I'd love to see him be it as a coach or something. But yeah, if not, maybe he could be what Hakeem Olajuwon kind of has become in the NBA, where he kind of like has a program where players come and learn from him. Basically, it's kind of like a camp for NBA players to come and learn those legendary post moves. So,
is he teaching the skyhook?
Yep. Oh! Did I say Kareem? Oh, excuse me, Hakeem Olajuwon. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
No.
Did I?
No, you said it right. But
okay.
He did it. He did that little. Well,
yeah,
maybe not skyhook.
The dream shake.
He did the little jump hook thingy.
Yeah, that's what it was. The jump hook. Yep, and the dream shake.
You don't really see that anymore. Every once in a while, you might see it, but the lost art form of El Hook Chateau.
Oh, it was well done. It was really well done. And of course the Dream Shake, which a lot of guys want to learn. It seems like that seems to be a very popular thing for people from shooting guard all the way to center. Oh, look at me. Timberwolves Explosion 2.0. Okay. Yeah, I like basketball too out there, guys. Guys and gals.
Oh boy, so now football is over.
Damn it. Yeah.
What a fantastic game, 34 to 31. Not really a defensive struggle like I kind of thought it might have been, but I don't quite recall what I said the score was going to be. Probably something like 21-24 or something like that. But
yeah, I think I might have had like 28-24. It was a little bit higher.
I think you did.
Yeah,
I think you did. Yeah,
sounds familiar. No, and then I think you said 21-24. Yeah, 24-21.
Something like that.
Or 3-0.
That was definitely Oh, that would have been a close game, but not the kind of game that you'd like to watch.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
That would have been like old-time Colts Baltimore,
Baltimore Colts, baby. Colt 45. Oh, sorry. Oh, man. Yeah, and like one other thing, too, that final play. Well, of course, there's always other things, but yeah, the final play of the game again, real quick, rehashing back to that. Was it, quote-unquote, karma for how the NFC title game ended? Because remember how that was a possible hold or something? Against the, it's like maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up for what the heck.
At least the Packers nor the Seahawks made it. So, yeah, maybe. And the actual final play, I was kind of hoping to see some kind of like Miracle City throwback play, but man, when you pitch the ball, you got to keep the ball in play.
Yeah.
Don't pitch it to the freaking front row of the stands, dummy.
Yeah, that was terrible, wasn't it? Yeah, that was terrible. I bet the whole line was, or the whole sideline was like, "Oh, come on, trade this guy tomorrow." No, I'm kidding. Basically.
I kept on thinking, you know what? If Akers misses this kick, he will be looking for a job come tomorrow. If Akers misses this kick, yeah, because they've had some ups and downs with that dude.
Oh yeah,
this year.
Yeah, he had that hernia, sports hernia deal where I don't think he had the surgery yet, and they had him playing through it all year or something since November. And what's really funny, and I mean hilarious, speaking of missed kicks, they were going to bring in Billy Cundiff, of all people.
Yeah.
How funny is that?
Cundiff has a leg.
Yeah.
He can kick far, but too bad it's just not, kind of... I think the theme of the night, Joey, is going to be Lights Out.
Yep. Good one. Lights Out.
Yeah, he's not one of those Lights Out kicker like one of the Grammatica brothers were, or Morton Anderson, and, he's not one of those types. That's why he's kind of jumping between, sub job here and sub job there.
That's basically what it is. The poor guy. They're bringing him in, and they're like, we'll stick with Akers. What the hell? No. Oh boy, Akers was great with the Eagles for a long time, but it's just this wasn't.
Yeah, he was the money man.
He was fantastic. One other thing with Moss too is he seemed to have alligator arms at times. So you could the two very key plays in the game with obviously Kaepernick and Moss. The interception, to me, it's like, was it a miscue or what, or was it just really that badly overthrown, or what's the deal? I'm having a hard time with that one. But did Moss really go after it properly, or what's the deal? And then obviously the 2-point conversion as well. Ed Reed again involved in that one where he was rushing Kaepernick. He was free, so you can't blame Moss completely on that. But it seemed like on both of those plays, Moss kind of, I don't know, seemed to have cold feet on both of those plays. Like, I don't know, I didn't like it too much. Niners people are really ripping him about it. Their little, like, they have their own like post-game show, I guess. They were cussing up a storm talking about Moss, saying, "Oh, now he's 0 for 2 in Super Bowls." It's like, okay.
Oh, so they thought that Randy brought the curse, huh?
Possibly, or that just the whole alligator arms. They were like swearing about it and stuff. It's like, yeah, he's always done this, stuff like that.
Well, in the NFL, there's a lot of superstition. Like Bill Parcells had a lot of them as well. Maybe there is a little bit of this superstition type stuff. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be. But the whole alligator arm thing too, people are wondering, it's just he just never tries type of thing. But I'm sure he wanted that game. He looked like he was going to cry when San Francisco was down to 4th and 2-ish, or that the play was like the holding was not called. He looked like he was going to cry on the sideline. So I'm sure he wanted it.
Oh, I'm positive he did.
Oh yeah.
It was gonna be his sunset moment,
Yeah, there it was, and then
but Ray stole it.
Yep, Ray. It's one or the other. That's the sad part. Like, somebody had to lose. I would have been really happy for either one, and I think this may have been Baltimore's only chance for the time being because of the turnstile that could be going on right now in the offseason where where I do think San Francisco can and should be back soon in the next 1 to 3 years.
That's going to be an interesting thing because I still think this team, is going to be good next year.
Yeah.
But that Super Bowl hangover, man.
Yep.
Statistically, I don't remember what exactly the statistic is, but most of the time they don't even make the playoffs the next year.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Patriot.
Mm-hmm. Patriot or Buffalo Bill, yeah, but then they kept losing.
Well, yeah.
But they just kept losing, and they seem to be worse each time they went back. That's the funny part, isn't it?
We're here again.
Huh?
We're here again.
Yeah, Jim Kelly, we're back, and then they lose like 35-3. It's like, oh, yeah, you're back.
Yeah, right.
It's like that was really good. Click, I think their fourth Super Bowl they went to, they were actually leading at halftime, which was like, wow, oh my God. And then it was like 30-0 in the second half. It's like, that was lame.
Yeah, the sad sound effect.
That's what it was. Oh, they just got
Thought you was.
Huh?
Thought you was.
Mm-hmm. And then was not. Was not. What was the word? Same as it ever was. There we go.
Do you think that Mike Singletary had a little fist pump at the end of this game?
Probably.
Yes.
Son of a gun. Yeah, he's the linebacker / assistant head coach or something with the Vikings. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Believe it or not, he's actually here of all places.
Did a little fist pump there. Yes.
Probably did because that didn't end well for him over there.
Sorry, bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he kind of got a raw deal there too, but
Yeah, I liked him.
This is the NFL now. I mean, it's produced now or be gone tomorrow, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, you look at like old coaches like Tom Landry. That would never happen nowadays.
Yes.
Or Chuck Noll. It would never happen.
Or Shula.
Yep. Yeah, that was my next guy, Don Shula. Yep. That would, stuff like that would have never happened. Hell, George Halas.
Bud Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, Bud Grant.
There's some really, really long-term coaches. And
they're great coaches. They're Hall of Fame coaches. Great, best in the NFL. If it was today's NFL, they would have been nothing.
Which is really sad. Yeah, that's really sad.
All of those coaches had bad years.
Yeah, there's always the down year, maybe injuries or God knows what. It just didn't work out that year. The guys did not play well. Or the other team was just way better. Let's say 85 Bears or, teams like that. That just, we're going to roll over everybody no matter what you said or did. Yeah, we could name all those those big dynasties over the years and maybe 1 year super teams like Chicago. Yeah, that was a super team for 1 year.
Yeah, and then, the 49ers pretty much rolled up the 80s with 4 Super Bowl appearances and wins.
Oh, yes. Yep, undefeated. Yeah, what?
Still think they should have lost 88.
Yes,
but
yes, the drives.
If Tim Krumrie was in that game,
Cincinnati.
If he didn't break his ankle in the first freaking snap of the game.
Yeah, that was a shame. That was a very close, low-scoring game that Cincinnati had until they just they couldn't stop Montana. They just couldn't get it done. I watched that replay I don't know how many times on YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
Like, Joey, turn it off. No.
Yeah.
It was similar to was it Steelers and Cardinals? It's like, oh, just stop. Please just stop him. Oh, come on. Stop him. Please, okay, you got him. Nope. God. Oh.
Yeah, if they didn't hit you with Rice, they hit you with Taylor.
Yep, that's what it was. Rice, Taylor.
Yeah, and if they didn't hit Taylor, they hit Craig coming out of the backfield. That was one thing that used to always piss me off about that 49er team. All right, Joe Montana, he's back. He's about ready to get sacked. There's no one open. Oh, and then he finds a little dump-off receiver all by himself.
I think it's like 20 yards.
It's like, where? Oh, yeah, you guys can come on. If you're going to play zone, this is going to happen to you. You're playing a stupid cover one freaking zone. and you get burnt on this every single time. It would be like third and 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll hit like Roger Craig coming out of the backfield and get 8 yards.
Yeah.
It just would make me want to pull my freaking hair out every time I watch that crap.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, play freaking like cover 2, man-to-man, and yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's basically what like you see with the Packers all the time too these days. It's like, not again, please.
No, I subscribe to the old John Madden way of playing football. Like he came into the Super Bowl meeting and then they're asking about defensive schemes or whatever, and he says, "We're going to run 2 defenses, cover 1 and cover 2."
Mm-hmm. Cover 2.
It's not going to be a surprise. It's the same thing we ran all year.
Mm-hmm.
Cover 1, cover 2. It's like keep it simple.
Yeah, and then it hopefully works out. Yeah, and execute.
Mm-hmm.
Just make the tackle. You're there. Make it. Basically,
yeah,
right? Please.
And it seemed like in the 80s and stuff is when they first tried to like disguise blitzes and disguise their zone coverage, and it's really crazy now because like you'll watch a defensive end drop back in pass coverage. I'm like, what the heck's going on here?
Yeah, it does happen.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Julius Peppers has got an interception.
Yeah. You actually see stuff like that now. Or back in the day, it was almost you almost never saw linebackers get interceptions back then. Almost never. Sometimes, but not like now, where it's like all the time. It's mostly just cornerbacks and safeties. The Paul Krauses of the world. Yes, Paul Krause, Ronnie Lott.
That was your NFL throwback for the episode.
Episode 136, NFL Pro throwback. There we go. I already butchered that one.
Well, you know what? We talked about this off air, but okay. So the big hype thing with the commercials, and GoDaddy. A lot of people said, "Oh, that was gross," and yeah, it kind of was. They could have redid some of the smacking in the kiss, but come on, man, nerds gotta get love too, right?
Once in a while.
Once in a while. Doesn't mean we have to look at it though, Dylan.
Yeah, that was the close-up was the part I think they could have done without. It's like, okay.
I had a lot of friends on Facebook, family and friends or whatever, but it seemed like a lot of the females were saying, "Oh, that is gross," and I think most of us guys are like, "What? So what? The guy's ugly and he's with a hot chick."
Capitalize, right?
Winner. They probably didn't even have to pay the guy.
Mm-hmm. They probably didn't. Yeah, you got to capitalize, right?
So we also talked about Leon Sandcastle, and I thought that was probably the best commercials. It was so funny. I really enjoyed that. But, I kind of was a Deion Sanders fan back in the day, too. But, yeah, that Leon Sandcastle thing. And you know what? That kind of plays to what I was saying before, play till the wheels fall off. And I do not doubt that Deion Sanders still thinks that he can play to this day, but is kind of afraid to try it because he's, a lot older now. But
yeah, upper 40s by now, right?
Yeah, but in his head he's like, man, they think this wide receiver he only ran a 4.4. He's like, I could run a 4.1 even now.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, the competitive bug's always going to be there.
I don't know if he can run a 4.1 now, but I wouldn't put it past him to run a 4.5 or a 4.4 now. He's still in good shape. I don't know if he'll blow out a hammy doing it, but
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. You never know. Or like the knee comes loose type of deal. Oh, that's right. It's goodbye. But no, he can. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he could still kind of play. Hopefully for his sake. But yeah, I could see him thinking that too. He's prideful enough. His ego's pretty healthy.
Leon Sandcastle, the first pick of the
that was
2013 draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Leon. And I'm pretty sure Farzine would love to have Leon Sandcastle at this point.
The Kansas City Chiefs bring in Leon Sandcastle. Even though the guy the character looked like he was 50. That was the one part I was laughing at, or I was like making fun of. I'm like, okay, he's a rookie that looks like he's 50. Look at that big beard and everything, or was it mustache? Yeah, mustache. And like 70s.
I love the wig.
Yeah,
yeah, the
70s.
Giant. Who is that in NFL films where he takes the helmet off and his hair goes whoop? I can't remember who it was.
Was he on the Cowboys? Because I keep picturing the Cowboys. I don't know why, but
I think so. Maybe
Tony Hill. No, I don't. Maybe that guy was way back in the day. Tony Hill, I believe, is the name.
Yeah, that was one of my
Too Tall Jones.
One of my little favorite clips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about too. Pretty sure it's Dallas. It could be. Who knows? I'm could be way off, but I do know what you mean. Yes, sir. So, like, one of the kind of like a closing thought could be, do the 49ers soon return to the Super Bowl and win it?
Yeah,
that's a good question, isn't it?
It definitely is. With history not on their side.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, the Super Bowl hangover is kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't believe how bad it always has been for for teams. You lose the Super Bowl and they just die. But I got a feeling that this 49ers team is gonna be one of the few in the proud, like the Patriots, that keep coming back. I just can't see the 49ers just having a huge hangover. I think Harbaugh is a little bit too competitive to allow that to happen. And I think the players will be too.
It's kind of hard because we're pretty far out, and there's a lot of things that got to happen.
Yeah,
there's going to be roster moves. You got the draft. You never know what's going to happen with that.
Yep.
But I kind of get that feeling, like you do, that there isn't going to be one.
Yeah. Hangover.
Yeah, but you never know. I mean, I think next season's going to be the rise of New Orleans Saints again.
Oh no.
Because you look and see how good they played in the second half of the season. They were playing pretty much playoff caliber football there for a little bit, and they had a huge weapon in Sean Payton being taken away from them.
Yeah.
And that was the whole that whole BS thing. The more I think about it, the more I think it's total BS.
Bountygate.
Yeah.
Bountygate.
Yeah, you can thank Jeremy Shockey for all that shit. He's the Jose Canseco of NFL, as far as I'm concerned. But
yeah, always.
I don't know. I guess that could be good or it could be bad. I mean, depending on how you look at it. But he definitely screwed up that team for an entire season. Yeah, I think it's kind of going to be a resurgence of the New Orleans Saints.
Good.
So don't get too happy there in Atlanta. I think you're going to be sitting at the number 2 spot next season.
Ooh, that's a big one. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, the NFC South, of course, right? Yeah, there's
Yep.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, the offense there is as good as it gets when healthy and when the coach is intact.
Yeah,
that might
the coach
help.
is allowed.
Yeah.
To step foot in the freaking building.
Yeah. It was funny how the commissioner kind of what was it? He kind of lessened a lot of the penalties, didn't he, when he kind of took over? Or no, was it? What am I thinking? Was it the commissioner? Yeah.
Yeah, except for on Sean Payton.
Yeah, except for him. That was it was too late kind of for that one. Kind of too little too late for that one. But on a lot of the other guys, yeah, he seemed to lessen it.
It was cool, though, to allow him to be in the stadium at least when Drew Brees broke Johnny U's record.
Yeah, that's really
that was kind of a nice gesture. And what's funny is that I think it was 2 or 3 games later he had a game without a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So the record isn't 2 past Johnny U, but it is, he did pass him.
Yeah, that was it happened. And it's even though it was a lost season, it still happened. That was the important part, I suppose. One positive to look at for them.
Yeah.
Only one, but that's I guess one final point we could say is the call-in. It was actually two calls in one, basically. It was one call, but split into 2. by Sebastian Balls, a name you've heard.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. He went as far as to say during the call that he thinks that, after a lot of things would go right, of course, like, oh, we need to address this, but with all that said, I'm making the gutty pick, the Vikings win the Super Bowl next year.
Ooh, man.
That's what Sebastian said, yeah.
Ooh, wow.
What do you think of that?
I think that's after this season, they kind of silenced some naysayers, being even us two. Yeah, it kind of depends. If your MVP guy can stay healthy, anything can happen, man. And also, if it depends on how many games you're having Joe Webb.
Never again. No.
Yeah, but I still kind of like Joe Webb, but that was kind of throwing him to the wolves. Kind of, he didn't get many snaps during the season, and boom, we're in the playoffs. You're playing a caliber team.
Yeah, that was.
And most of those teams are on the top of their game by the time they reach playoffs. So
yeah, going in cold didn't help. So Sebastian believes that didn't make a difference. I think it did a little bit. Yeah,
it makes you ponder what would have happened if Christian was in the game.
Yes, it does. It does. I think it would have been a much better game. Definitely, the defense kept the Packers to 24. I mean that says a lot.
That's a doable number.
That's a doable number. Absolutely. And Ponder played phenomenal in the previous game, just a mere week earlier, when unfortunately the Green Bay player, which I don't know which one it was, put his helmet into Ponder's elbow.
Insert name here.
Huh? Yes. Yep.
Insert name here.
Gotta be one cent.
Than any of those dirty, rotten SOBs from that Packer team.
That crappy place. Basically. Green Bowl Packers. No, that's what some people always would say. Was it some shirt or something? Yeah, those shirts where they make fun of everything. Yeah. Who knows what they say about us or whoever else, Vikings or Bears fans, who knows? They probably don't want to know. Yeah, but it's Vikings seem to be modeling themselves after San Francisco, and that's a good team to model after, or the 80s Bears maybe. But yeah, I don't know if I should say that too nicely. Got to go 15-1 first, but yeah,
you're gonna have a riot.
Huh?
You're gonna have a riot.
Yeah, you're gonna kill me over that. Yep. But they are modeling themselves after that type of team, like kind of what San Francisco is right now. They're trying to model themselves after that, which that's cool. And then we beat them pretty soundly in the Dome earlier this year, but with a different quarterback, much less mobile. So possibility exists. Either Ponder plays a lot better. I do think Webb, I hate to say this, you may disagree with this statement, but I kind of hope Webb has seen his last snap in Minnesota. I think we need a different backup quarterback, or possibly someone to compete or even push Ponder out of a job next season, which is kind of what Sebastian said. Sorry. Yeah. And, of course, we need Anquan Bolden. Yes. Or somebody like that. Yeah, that'd be the dream signing, but I don't know. We need something. Obviously, a good draft pick at receiver and other positions. A lot of things need to go right for it to happen, because not only do you need to pick all the right people, sign the right people, everybody needs to stay healthy and be on their A game, which, it only happens once, I guess. Or at least be healthy at the right time. Excuse me.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we'll see. Any final thoughts you may have on this? Do you think the Ravens may have a shot at repeating?
Jeez, I just don't know. It's so hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean, not very many teams have done it. And in the modern NFL era, it's just so difficult to do that.
Yeah, almost impossible.
I can definitely see them making it to the playoffs, but as far as another Super Bowl, I just don't even know. That's going to be like once, see it in the season that, that they're gaining momentum and it's just so tough nowadays.
Mm-hmm. It is. They're going to need a lot of things to go right again, and they already went through that this year. A lot of things went right at the end, not during the season.
And the competition level now is just so good that really, when you pick a team, you're really taking a shot in the dark because anyone can beat anyone.
Mm-hmm. On a given day, yeah. Yep, that's a fact.
You just don't know. You just can't really say for certain, like when Dallas had their dominant days, it was like, yeah, Dallas is going to go to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And you could say that with utmost confidence because they just dominated there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really have that anymore. I guess the closest thing we have to that now in the modern day has been the New England Patriots, but they haven't, won a Super Bowl in quite a while now.
8 years. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I didn't write that down. I'm glad you brought that up. Where, yeah, the days of the favorite seem to be over right now. They just doesn't seem to exist anymore. You always seem to see well, not always, but almost always seem to see these out of nowhere or semi out of nowhere. This year it was semi out of nowhere because I thought they were going to be phenomenal until the injury. But you see the underdog win the Super Bowl every year lately. Green Bay with 10-6, New York 9-7 and 10-6. Arizona just about had a 9-7 record over a near dynasty in Pittsburgh. It's unbelievable. You're seeing 16-0 teams lose, 14-2 teams lose to these, 10-6 teams.
Yeah,
it's been happening over and over and over and over since the recent dynasty of New England, and since it ended, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2004. Yep, ended unofficially. It's something, isn't it? Pittsburgh was, only 11-5. That's right. Yeah, they were, weren't they, back in 2005? They were only 11. Yeah, I mean, that's a good record, but it's not like 14-2, stomp the world,
Yeah.
Years ago, you would have seen Denver versus, not Atlanta. I don't know. I guess Denver versus San Francisco, and maybe Denver winning because they're great record. Who knows? 10-6 rules these days. We need to do something about it once. So with that, I guess, I guess it's time to hop into the contact details if you don't have any final thoughts.
That's all I got, man. It was a fantastic game. I'm glad that the third quarter happened. I'm glad that the lights went out, so the 49ers staged a comeback and made it an actual watchable game instead of a snooze fest that it was becoming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all I got to add, man. It was fantastic, and people that was so lucky to see my trolling tweets, I guess you could call them. I was having lots of fun, and hopefully a few of you did as well.
Oh yeah, it's always fun to watch those type of things jumping on. And yeah, I mean, the comeback made the game watchable. It was really, really boring. I was getting very sleepy in that first half.
Let me say one more thing about this before we roll it up. Is I tweeted a San Francisco fan that I've had a lot of Twitter interaction with throughout the years. He's a diehard fan, of course, and I said, "Hey, are you hoping that Alex Smith makes it into the game?"
Oh.
And he tweeted me back, and he said, "Kaepernick would have to be punting babies on the sidelines in order for Alex Smith to even be thought about at this moment."
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. They're not going to bring him in, no matter what, without a massive injury or something. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way though. There's almost no way they were going to bring him in.
Yeah, I just thought I'd throw a little kindling on the fire there. Cup of gasoline.
Yeah, that's funny.
Get him riled up. That's what I like to do.
Yes, piss him off. Oh, poor Niners. Oh boy. So, yeah, I mean, there's we got the Facebook page on Purple Mafia. Of course, Facebook.com/Purple Mafia Show. Twitter.com/Purple Mafia Show or at Purple Mafia Show. And Dylan Richardson also has a Twitter.
Yes, definitely. It's DYLANRICHARDSON, just my name spelled out. And, I tweet from time to time. I'm not super active, but definitely during football games. I like getting everyone riled up, and it's lots of fun. So go ahead and join me on there.
Yeah, it's just like we were saying just now, how you jumped on those Niners fans. Like you're, yep. So yeah, there it is.
I'm relentless on the Packer fans, so I let them have it, because even on Facebook and Twitter, man, they just rib me so much whenever the Packers win or beat anyone, and they're just so nauseous that every time the Packers lose, I let them have it.
Good. Yeah, they need it. Those Green Bay fans need it, because they're a little too cocky for my liking. And a lot of us like it. A lot of us, Bears and Viking fans alike. Yes, sir. So, yes.
They get real quiet when they're losing.
They do. They tend to kind of disappear and, oh, no, I didn't see the game. No, I didn't see it. I was shopping. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
That sounds about what they would say. Sons of guns. But yeah, Dylan Richardson also has a website. It is thesportstuff.com, the thesportstuff.com that I've always mentioned on every single show, because that's what Purple Mafia is linked to, thesportstuff.com. We thank you always, Dylan, for having our show on there. We appreciate it very much.
It's lots of fun.
Yeah, thank you. Can't believe it's been over 5 years already. Holy.
No kidding.
Getting old. We're getting old, aren't we?
No kidding.
We're pushing that next decade in years here. No, I don't want to say which one. Oh no, it's been very, very enjoyable. It's I think it was the 28th, so just a week ago. I think I announced it on the Brave the Wild of all shows, the smaller ones of my 3 shows.
It's crazy to think. I believe it's this month will be the 7-year anniversary of the Sports Stuff.
Wow, we're veterans, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, so I was only 2 years old when I started. Wow, that's crazy when I think about that.
Either 7 or 6.
Wow. Maybe only 6? Yeah. Probably 7. That's something else, though, man. Wow. It's pretty cool. We've been around a while. We appreciate all you out there that have been sticking around, listening to this show. And those of you that keep going away and coming back, just stick around. Stop running away, all right?
Yeah, why don't you?
Yeah, don't be so bandwagon, damn it. Yes. That sporadic drives me nuts. I like consistency. I'm going to go Jim Harbaugh on all of you.
Throw your headset. Complain.
Yep. That's what I'm going to do. I'm telling you. That's what I do behind the scenes, but no one sees it because I cover it up very well by not being on the mic. Oh, that was a weird one, but I had to say it. Oh, but yeah, thanks again for joining. This has been awesome doing these postseason shows. This is terrific.
It's been lots of fun. I really appreciate you having me on the show, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely, Dylan. We got to keep this as a tradition. Yes.
Heck yeah.
Postseason tradition, season preview tradition, and yeah, how as much as we can in between also.
I'll try this next coming season. I'll try to keep us more on track instead of going the sidelines route and talking about Jerry Glanville and all that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll try to narrow it down a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Well, it's one of those things. I guess it's just football's football. Hopefully people enjoy some of our sidetracking, but I hear you. We always have. I mean, at least we don't talk about other stuff like regular radio does. Those sons of guns. Yes. Yeah, regular radio I think is unlistenable. Actually, I just said it. Yep. Podcasts usually stay semi on topic versus regular radio, or they'll just start talking about. I don't even want to say pop culture. Oh,
they got to reset every 25 minutes.
Basically. Pop culture can disappear as far as I'm concerned. Because it ain't the 80s anymore. Boy, I'm old. Oh, I had to say it. Excuse me. All right, so with that, everybody, we will be back. The next show, ladies and gentlemen, episode number 137, will be State of the Vikings. Have your team MVP, Minnesota Vikings MVP. We kind of have a pretty good idea who that's going to be, I would hope. That's the easiest ever because he's the league MVP, Adrian Peterson. Your biggest surprise player of the year, and your biggest disappointment. Post those on Facebook or even on Twitter if you like, but probably Facebook because it'll fit on there better. That'd make it simple. I'll even create a thread for that on the Facebook page. So yes, State of the Vikings 2013 will finally come to fruition. Hope you guys have enjoyed this postseason talk, and I'm sure the Baltimore Ravens fans and 49ers fans did, but more the Baltimore ones in the end. Thank you again for sticking around with us, those of you that have been kind enough to do so, and bring your friends back on board that maybe listened in the past and haven't been lately. So thank you again, and we'll be back in the next maybe week or 2 weeks for State of the Vikings. Take care, everybody.